Why should we hire you? That seems to be one of the most feared questions that interviewers face when they're in an interview process. So, how should you answer it? Stick around because as a corporate recruiter, I'm going to tell you exactly what we're looking for when we ask you the question, why should we hire you? Hey everybody, it's Brian from Life After Layoff, and today I want to talk to you about how to answer the question, why should we hire you? If you're asked that in an interview. I'm a corporate recruiter with over 20 years of experience hiring thousands of people into some of the world's most well-known and well-respected companies. If you're a job seeker and you are looking to get back on your feet as quickly as possible, make sure you check out my free 5-day bootcamp for job seekers. I'll leave a link below. So I took a recent poll on my LinkedIn profile, so if you're actually not following me on LinkedIn, feel free to connect with me. There should be a link below. But I took a recent poll and asked job seekers, what is the one question that you're most afraid of encountering in an interview? And a majority of people actually said the why should we hire you question was one that really kind of gave them heartburn. So I felt like it might be worth putting together just a quick summary of what it is that we're looking for when we ask you that question, and then give you some strategy on how you can answer it. So that's what I want to cover in today's video. In order to answer that question, I think you need to understand why we're asking that or what we're looking for from you as the job seeker. So when I ask you the question, why do you want to work for us? It's really, I'm trying to get a gauge from you, the job seeker, of do you understand what we're trying to accomplish with the position? So you really have to understand why the position is open and why we are trying to fill it. So that's the first thing. So when I say, tell me about yourself, I'm not looking for something generic from you. I actually have a very targeted reason why I'm asking that question. So let's look at it from the hiring manager's perspective. When you have a new position that gets created, it's typically in a department, the hiring manager has a business gap or a business problem that they need to solve. Now, it could be replacing somebody that's leaving the organization or moving into a different role, or it could be that there is a business need that they need to create a new headcount, and so they go off and create a business case for this problem that needs to be solved. So that usually then generates a requisition that gets posted, and then as recruiters, we then go in and actually start to recruit the position, and then we align pretty closely with the hiring manager. So before that happens, we actually sit down with the hiring manager and we review the job specifications with them and say, okay, what's going to be the critical things that you need to do with this position? Why is the position open? What are the skills needed in order for somebody to be successful, or for you to really seriously consider a candidate that we might submit? So that's going to be the first thing that we do. It was called an intake call. So we have a pretty detailed conversation, and as I'm going through and asking these questions with the hiring manager, I'm basically creating a job profile, an ideal candidate profile. So then I take that, and that's going to really answer the question from the business perspective about what is the business problem that they're trying to solve. Now, I want to asterisk that and say that's the key for answering why do you want to work here. We need to know what that business problem is that they're solving, because that's going to give you the insight or the ammunition in order to really hit that one out of the park. So once that intake call is done, we then go out and we start recruiting the position. Now, you're going to get this. You probably won't get this question from a recruiter. Most likely it's probably going to come from the hiring manager. So when you get to that phase of the interview, you could expect that to be asked. But there's a strategy behind it. And so if you are stressing about how to answer the question, there's really, I'm going to suggest that you do a 3-part formula. So the very first part of the formula is going to be understanding why the position is open. So again, there's that business problem that we're trying to solve, the business is trying to solve, and you need to be able to understand how you would fit into that business problem. So a company might say, I've got a new project or a new skill set that I'm launching a new division, or I have a new project that's coming down the pipeline that I'm responsible for, and I just don't have the bandwidth in my department, or I don't have this skill set or somebody that is capable of handling this type of project for me. So that would be the business problem. So that's why the job is created, and then the job descriptions are developed and all that stuff to basically handle that specific piece. So how do you find out what the business is looking for? Well, you're looking at the job description. So you're going to pay really close attention to that job description, kind of highlighting the major points of that job description, because that's going to give you the insight or the key indicators as to what the business is looking for. And then when you get to the interview with me as the first line recruiter, so I'd be doing the preliminary screen with you, you can be asking me too. And listen to very closely to what I say to you during that interview, because you're going to be able to pull out those key things that you're going to be able to use to take into the next interview. If you make it to the hiring manager interview, you're going to want to listen really closely to what the recruiter says, because they're going to give you a lot of keys and insight that you'll be able to use to help sell yourself. That would be the first thing. So understanding what the business problem is. Now that we know what the business problem is, now we want to link our past experiences to the business problem. So we know that there's a particular program or project that they're going to be working on with this position. Ideally, you have some of that experience, and you can now link your background to that particular project. So when you're giving your answer, think in terms of, well, I've already solved this problem in another organization, and this is why I think I'd be able to do it for you, because I've already had a track record of success doing it. So you're going to link your background, what you've done in the past, to the business problem that they are trying to solve, and that's going to give you the best chance of really aligning why you would be the best candidate. And then the last part of that process, or that answer, is going to be linking how you could also do the same thing for them. So you can even give, like, listen, I've worked on this type of project before. This is how I would solve it. I would do this, this, and this, and get them thinking, okay, I can actually see this person doing the type of thing that I need to do. I think where a lot of job seekers make mistakes is they give you generic, and when I ask the question, I get generic, most of the time I'll get generic response back. It's going to be, well, I'm a team player. I like to give 110%. That one always cracks me up, because it's physically impossible to give more than 100%. So just a kind of an aside pet peeve, but or things like, I'm a fast learner and I achieve results. That stuff sounds all great and everything, but that's so generic and fluffy that it doesn't tell you anything about the candidate. So don't say generic stuff like that I'm a team player, that I can do all of these, that I'm a fast learner, I'm going to jump into your team and hit the ground running. That everybody's going to say that kind of stuff, or everybody believes that they're going to be able to do those types of things. If you are able to tie business results that you've achieved in the past to solve our business problem, that's why we should hire you. So when you're asked this question in an interview, think in terms of those three things. Understand what the business problem is, link it to what you've done in the past, and then show how you can also solve the same business problem for us. All right, there you have it. That's how you answer the question, why should we hire you? So now you've got the formula. You should be able to link those results in the past to what our business problem is now, and you should be able to hit this one out of the park. If you have any other questions for me, make sure you drop a comment below. Also check out my website. It's called alifeafterlayoff.com. It's loaded with a bunch of information on how to land your dream job as quickly as possible. Make sure you hit the like button, and we will see you on the next one.